You think you know what you believe in. You think you have a religion, or maybe you think you don't. You think you're spiritual, or maybe you think all that's nonsense. But here's the punchline. Most of what you think you are is just something you've been told to be. You've been carrying around other people's words like they're your own bones. And one day, you look in the mirror and realize, wait, whose face is this? Whose life am I living? That's where Zen hits like a brick to the jaw. Because Zen doesn't care what you believe. It's the religion of no religion. It's not about converting you. It's not about chanting the right way or bowing the right number of times. It's about taking your mind and holding it over a fire until all the fake burns away. People think deep sleep means peace and comfort. No, sometimes it means dying to the person you pretend to be. Zen sleep isn't the nap you take after lunch, it's the death of the restless self. The voice in your head that never shuts up, Zen puts it on mute. And at first, that silence feels like drowning. You start to panic. Wait, where's my noise? Where's my identity? Where's the drama that made me feel alive? And Zen says, that's the point. We're addicted to our noise. You ever notice that? You can't even stand in line for coffee without checking your phone. You can't walk to your car without some song blasting in your ears. You've forgotten how to be alone with your own breathing. And you think you're living. You think that's freedom. But you're just a prisoner in a really colorful cell. See, Zen doesn't hand you answers. It hands you a broom and says, clean the floor. That's the test. Not because the floor needs to be clean. Because your mind does. Because the act of cleaning without looking for meaning is the meaning. We're so desperate for purpose that we forget how to live without needing one. That's the mind trap. You're chasing something that isn't missing. You want to know why people are so miserable even when they have everything? Because they never learned how to stop running. They hit every goal and immediately set another one. And deep down, they're terrified that if they stop, they'll realize there's nothing to run from. That's Zen's cruel joke. It shows you there's nothing there, and that's the most freeing thing in the world, if you can handle it. But most people can't. Most people need a religion that tells them exactly what to think, what to say, what to hope for. Zen throws that crutch away. Zen says, walk on your own legs. Fall if you have to, crawl if you must, but move without someone pushing you. And yeah, it's brutal. It's like stripping paint off a wall with your bare hands. You start seeing the parts of yourself you've been hiding behind hobbies, relationships, titles, excuses. You realize half the time you're not even talking to people. You're talking to their defenses, their masks. Zen asks, can you see past all that? Can you drop your own? Most people won't, because it's easier to stay comfortable. Easier to keep the TV running in the background of your life than to sit in stillness and face your own reflection. But if you want real deep sleep, the kind where your soul stops thrashing around, you've got to face it. Let's get raw for a second. Imagine your life as it is right now. Imagine all your stress, your fears, your what-ifs. Now imagine you were told you had one day to live, but here's the twist. You wouldn't die tomorrow. You'd just lose the ability to care about anything that doesn't matter. Think about that. How many things instantly disappear from your mind? How many fights, deadlines, grudges just vanish? That's Zen. The moment you realize most of what you stress over is self-inflicted. But here's the ugly truth. Knowing it isn't enough. You can read every Zen quote, every Buddhist teaching, watch every inspirational video, and still wake up tomorrow in the same mental prison. Why? Because you haven't done the work. Because you still think there's a shortcut. There's not. There's sitting on a cushion until your knees hurt. There's breathing until your thoughts quiet. There's sweeping the floor even when you think you're above it. There's learning how to be bored without reaching for your phone. People want magic. They want instant peace.
Zen is the opposite of instant. It's the slow death of impatience. It's walking through a desert with no map and realizing the journey is the destination. It's sitting under a tree for hours until the tree stops being a tree and becomes something you can't name. You want to master yourself? Start by admitting you're not in control. Start by seeing how much of your life is autopilot, how much of your anger is recycled, how much of your sadness is a habit, how much of your joy is fake because it's built on needing the next thing. Zen rips the floor out from under you so you can learn to stand on nothing. I get it. It sounds terrifying. It is. That's why so few people actually live it. But let me tell you something. Once you taste that silence, once you really feel what it's like to exist without the constant itch to change something, you'll wonder how you ever lived any other way. You'll walk into chaos, and your mind will be still. You'll watch the world's noise like you're watching a movie. And when you lay down to sleep, you won't be replaying arguments or rehearsing fears. You'll just sleep. So here's the challenge. Tonight, when the lights are off and you're lying there in the dark, don't reach for a distraction. Don't fill the space with noise. Just breathe. Notice your thoughts like clouds passing. Don't chase them. Don't fight them. Let them drift until they're gone. And when your mind starts screaming for stimulation, for some little hit of dopamine, smile, because that's the addiction breaking. This isn't about becoming some perfect monk. It's about becoming real, stripping away the junk until what's left is unshakable. That's the religion of no religion. Not a path you walk. It's the ground you stand on once you stop looking for ground. You want a deep sleep? Start by tossing around in your own mind. Stop trying to fix the waves. Become the ocean. And tomorrow, wake up and live like you've already let go. Because the second you stop needing the world to be a certain way before you're okay, that's the second you're free. That's your call to action. No applause, no ceremony. Just do it. Today. Now. Before your mind talks you out of it.
All right. You want the full thing. No cuts, no breathers. Let's go all the way in. So, we left off at freedom, right? That moment where you stop needing the world to be a certain way before you're okay. That's where most people nod their head like they get it. But inside, they're already negotiating with themselves. Yeah, that sounds good, but what about my bills? What about my relationship? What about my goals? And there it is, the hook, the reason they'll keep running in circles for another decade. Because here's the thing, Zen isn't about ignoring life. It's not about sitting in a cave while the world burns and saying, oh well, nothing matters. That's not Zen. That's cowardice disguised as wisdom. Zen is about standing in the middle of that fire and knowing it can't burn what you really are. You still pay your bills. You still show up for your relationships. You still have goals. But you stop letting those things own you. You stop tying your worth to whether they go your way. And yeah, most people can't do that because they've never been taught how to let go without giving up. Letting go doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you stop clinging. Imagine holding water in your hand. The tighter you grip, the faster it slips out. That's how we treat life. We strangle it and then wonder why it disappears. Zen is learning to hold it with open hands. But here's the ugly truth. You're addicted to your grip. You think if you let go, you'll lose control. Spoiler, you were never in control. Not of the world, not of people, not even of your own mind half the time. And yet you keep wrestling with reality like you're going to pin it down and make it behave. How's that been working for you? Let's get really uncomfortable for a minute. Imagine everything you think you are, your job, your skills, your name, your body, your past, vanishing in an instant. Not because something bad happened, because you finally saw that none of it was you in the first place. Who's left? Who's behind all that? Most people can't answer. They panic. That's why they avoid the question. That's why they drown in noise, in social media, in constant distraction. Because the silence is where the truth is hiding. And the truth? It's simple. You're not who you think you are. And that's terrifying at first, because your whole life has been built on defending this identity, this story. Every fight you've had, every fear you've felt, every decision you've made, it's all been about protecting something that was never real. Zen rips that story apart, and yeah, it hurts, like pulling a thorn that's been lodged so deep you thought it was part of you. Let me tell you something personal, not because I think my story matters more than yours, but because stories are how we sneak truth past our own defenses. Years ago, I thought I had my life figured out. I had my plans, my version of success, my daily grind, and then one day, all of it collapsed. Plans failed, people left. The version of me I had been selling to the world got stripped down to nothing. At first, I fought it. I scrambled to rebuild the walls. But the more I tried, the more I realized maybe the walls were the problem. Maybe I wasn't losing myself. Maybe I was losing the cage. That's what Zen does. It doesn't hand you a better cage. It doesn't paint the bars a nice color. It melts the whole damn thing down and leaves you standing there in the open. And at first, that freedom feels like danger. You're exposed, vulnerable. But over time, you realize there's nothing to protect. There's no enemy outside you except the one in your head. But let's not sugarcoat this. Getting there is not peaceful at the start. People think spiritual awakening means feeling blissful 24/7. No, it often starts with your life feeling like it's falling apart. Because in a way it is. The illusions are falling apart. The false comfort is burning away, and you're left raw, stripped, unsure. That's the part where most people quit. They run back to the noise. They tell themselves, maybe later, maybe when things calm down. But that's the lie. Things don't calm down until you stop running. So how do you sit with that chaos? How do you keep breathing when your mind is screaming? You practice. And I don't mean a few deep breaths in the morning. I mean really practicing letting go in everyday life. Someone cuts you off in traffic. Let it go. Your plan gets ruined last minute. Let it go. You lose something you thought you couldn't live without. Let it go. And each time you do, you realize you didn't actually lose anything that mattered. You just lost a thought about it. And here's the kicker. When you stop clinging, life starts to flow. You stop being this rigid rock in the stream and become part of the water. You adapt. You move. You see possibilities you couldn't see before because your mind was too busy protecting its little fortress. And you know what else happens? Sleep changes. Not just the close your eyes and rest kind. I mean deep, soul-level rest. Because half the reason you can't sleep at night isn't caffeine or bad pillows. It's because your brain doesn't know how to shut the hell up. You're replaying every mistake. You're rehearsing conversations that haven't happened yet. You're trying to solve problems that don't exist yet. Zen trains you to stop. Not by force, not by distraction, but by letting the mind wear itself out until it collapses into stillness. That's when sleep comes like a wave. And when you wake up, you're not dragging yesterday's garbage into today. You're here, present, alive. That's deep sleep. That's deep living. But none of this works if you're half in. Zen isn't something you dip your toe into when you're stressed and then forget about when life feels good again. It's not a switch you flip. It's a way of moving through everything. And it's not about perfection. You're gonna lose your cool sometimes. You're gonna cling sometimes. You're gonna fall back into old habits. The difference is, now you see it. Now you catch yourself. And every time you do, you loosen the chains a little more. And the crazy part? The world doesn't have to change for you to find peace. Your job doesn't have to change. Your relationship doesn't have to change. Your body doesn't have to change. Because peace isn't out there. It never was. It's in here. Always has been. That's the thing about the religion of no religion. It doesn't ask you to believe in anything. It asks you to drop belief and see for yourself. It's not about rules. It's about reality. And reality doesn't need you to agree with it. It doesn't need your approval. It just is. So, tonight when you close your eyes, ask yourself, What if I didn't have to fight with reality anymore? What if I could just be? And then just be. See what happens. See what it feels like when the war inside you finally ends. And when you wake up tomorrow, carry that with you. Not as a mantra, not as a goal, just as the truth. The kind you don't have to remember, because it's already there when you stop forgetting. That's it. That's the work. That's the freedom.
Buckle up, because I'm not going to just extend this. I'm going to walk you right into the deep end and hold you there until you either fight your way out or finally let go and float. So, we left off at this. Peace isn't out there. It never was. It's in here. But the problem is, most of you hear that and nod like, yeah, I get it. No, you don't. If you did, you wouldn't be chasing it in every single thing outside yourself. You wouldn't still be making your mood dependent on who texts you back, how much money you have, what someone thinks of you, or whether today went according to your plan. And here's the trap. We don't just chase peace in obvious ways, we chase it in disguised ways. I'll be peaceful when I finally get my dream job. I'll be peaceful when my body looks a certain way. I'll be peaceful when I've mastered meditation. You hear that? You just turned peace into another item on your to-do list. Zen says, nah, drop the list. Peace is here now before you change a single damn thing. But to see that, you've got to stop being afraid of stillness. And that's harder than it sounds. Because when you're still, the truth shows up, and the truth is messy. The truth is that a lot of your suffering is self-made. The truth is that most of your problems are just thoughts you've believed in too much. And nobody wants to admit that, because it means you've been holding the keys to your own cage this whole time. Let's get real here. People love to blame the world for their restlessness. It's this city, it's my boss, it's my partner, it's the economy, it's the news. No, it's you. Or rather, it's the part of you that refuses to be still unless everything outside you lines up perfectly. You're not restless because the world is chaotic. You're restless because you've made the condition of your mind dependent on the chaos calming down first. And here's where Zen punches you in the gut. It tells you the chaos never ends. Not out there. The traffic will always exist, people will always say dumb things, you will always face loss, change, disappointment. That's life. If you're waiting for it to be smooth before you can rest, you'll be waiting forever. So what do? You stop fighting waves. You let them rise and fall. You become the ocean, not the surfer who's terrified of falling off. That's the religion of no religion. It's not promising you paradise, it's showing you that paradise is in being okay with the storm. And this is where discipline comes in. People think discipline is about grinding harder, doing more. But real discipline? It's sitting still when every cell in your body is screaming to distract yourself. It's breathing through discomfort instead of running from it. It's letting a feeling pass without feeding it. That's the kind of discipline that rewires you from the inside out. And yeah, it's going to feel like hell at first. You'll sit in silence, and your brain will throw a tantrum. It'll throw old regrets at you. It'll pull up every fear. It'll replay every mistake. And you'll want to get up, grab your phone, turn on the TV, anything to get away from it. But if you stay, if you just sit and let it burn itself out, something magical happens. You realize those thoughts, they don't have teeth. They're just noise. They can't touch you unless you grab them. That's when the real deep sleep starts to show up in your life. Not just at night, but during the day. You'll walk through a busy street and feel a calm that doesn't care about the honking cars or the shouting voices. You'll be in a conversation and not feel the urge to defend yourself every time someone disagrees. You'll watch your own mind try to start drama, and you'll just smile at it like a kid throwing a fit in the supermarket. And the best part? You'll realize you don't have to fix everything. That's freedom most people never taste, knowing you can act without the weight of having to control every outcome. You'll still care. You'll still work hard, but it won't own you. Now, I know some of you are thinking, this sounds good, but how do I start? You start small. Tonight, when you lay down, don't reach for a screen. Don't put on background noise. Just breathe. Notice your thoughts. Don't fight them. Don't feed them. When they start shouting, smile at them and let them pass. That's it. Don't overcomplicate it. And tomorrow, try one more thing. When something irritates you, just pause. Don't react right away. Let the irritation rise, feel it fully, and watch it dissolve. It will. That's how you train your mind to stop biting the hook every time life dangles bait in front of you. Keep doing that day after day, and something shifts. The noise gets quieter. The space inside you gets bigger. The things that used to shake you don't even move the needle anymore. And that's when you realize you didn't change the world, you changed you. So here's my final push. Stop waiting for the perfect time to start living this way. There is no perfect time. Life will always be messy. You will never have it all figured out. The storm is here, now. But so is the stillness. So choose it. Not tomorrow, not after you fix everything. Now. Because the second you stop needing everything to be different before you're okay, you're free. And when you're free, you don't just sleep, you rest. You don't just exist, you live. You don't just breathe, you feel every damn breath. So, if you felt this, if it hit you in the chest, if it made you stop and think for even a second, don't keep it to yourself. Like it. Comment your thoughts. Share it with someone who needs to hear it but might not ask for it. Because maybe, just maybe, this is the reminder they've been waiting for.